I met Denise Robinson a few years ago at an economic development forum put on by Fifth Third Bank, Callaway Robinson. The forum panel was really informative. I was especially impressed by the work Alvis does in the whole economic development area. Truth be told, I thought I knew quite a bit about Alvis already, but Denise's presentation there and a subsequent meeting with her reinforced to me what a terrific asset Alvis has been, is now, and will continue to be in multiple vital areas in our community. Millie, by the way, your invocation was perfect relative to Alvis, obviously. With a $34 million budget, staff of 600, and multiple local, state, and national awards, Alvis is a true force for good. Here's the formal description of Denise's presentation. It's a good segue into her remarks, and will set you all up, I think, for interesting questions after she completes. Our economy is doing well, but further expansion is impeded by the fact that businesses are having difficulty finding qualified applicants for job openings. Alvis is a human services agency that provides workforce development and reentry programs for individuals transitioning out of the criminal justice system. This presentation discusses the economic and other benefits that individuals, businesses, families, and communities are able to realize when they work collaboratively with human service agencies like Alvis to address the challenges of reentry. By the way, Denise has been president and CEO of Alvis since 2005, right out of high school, pretty much. Isn't that the way you want me to say that? Yeah, okay. Please help me welcome Denise Robinson.
Thank you. Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry. Afternoon. How's everyone? Good. This is amazing. I have had the privilege to speak at several Rotary clubs, and I've never done Columbus, and so I'm really happy to be here today, and it's a much larger crowd than some of the others. But also, I think it was Scott, you sent us our parameters, and you gave me 30 minutes to talk about Alvis, and that's an impossible feat. Just wanted to tell you. But I will do it, and I'll speak really quickly. But Millie, thank you for your invocation. I was sitting there listening to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, does she read what I do and what we do for our community? So thank you for that too. And Gloria Iannucci, I think she's gonna click for me. And but I just want to talk to you a little bit about Alvis, because a lot of people think, because we used to be called Alvis House, people thought we were one house, and that was what we are. Well, we have 40 locations around the state. We're in Columbus, Dayton, Chillicothe, Lima, and Toledo. And as Rick said, we have about 550 staff. So we've grown a lot since our inception in 1967. I want to thank you again for having me here today and talk about Alvis and how we impact directly and indirectly families, children, neighborhoods, and the community at large. Our mission, our vision and our mission. Our vision is that the community believes a person's potential is more important than their past. We talk about that all the time, because when people come to Alvis, they've already done their time. And so it's like, okay, so now let's move to your present and to your future. Let's not talk about your past anymore. Let's go past that. So I love that our vision says that it's more important than the past. And then our mission, our mission is to innovate and deliver evidence-based programs, human service programs, that empower those we serve to lead successful and productive lives. The treatment at Alvis allows individuals to reach their highest potential. And so we get to see it firsthand, that their potential is more important than their past. Everything that we do at Alvis is supported by research. One of the things that was important to me, Rick said that I started to be the CEO in 2005. Well, I've been at Alvis for 35 years. I was 12 when I started. So we're a little off about high school, but I started 35 years ago as a teacher, and I was there as a teacher to work with persons with developmental disabilities. And I couldn't understand why the ad in the newspaper, because back in those days you did advertise in the newspaper, not anymore, but it said to work with offenders with mental retardation, and I was just really confused that people would incarcerate people that were mentally retarded. wholehearted. And so I went to the interview not expecting to find what I found, that an organization was really caring and that was really ready to give back to the community as a whole. So I always go back to my history with Alvis whenever we're planning something for the future. We are a nonprofit human services agency. Our service lines includes the reentry and cognitive behavioral treatment for our clients. It is all the research will tell you that you have to restructure the thinking of individuals in order for them to move forward. You have to change that behavior. We also offer substance abuse and mental health treatment, workforce development programs and education and skills training, services for individuals with developmental disabilities again, and support services for families, which is extremely, extremely important, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Because when a family is impacted by incarceration, that impacts not only that family, not only the individual, number one, not only the family, but also the communities. We were founded in 1967. We had one location, and it was a old Victorian home. And back in those days, when I first started the organization, our budget was under $1 million. We had probably about 40 to 50 staff. And when I took over as the CEO, our budget was $7.2 million, and we had about 250 staff. And as you heard Rick, our budget is $34 million now, and that was quick. It was very fast, and we did experience some issues. We experienced some infrastructure issues because we were growing so fast, but it also told us there's so many people in our community that had needs that we weren't addressing, that we needed to address, and so it was really important for us to grow at a rapid pace, but we had to go back and fix that infrastructure and build it up. Today, we're able to go to about $50 million and to about 700 staff without any further infrastructure. So what do? We're working on it now. We're working on it now as to building that infrastructure up. In the United States, nearly 1 in 3 adults has a criminal record. Every 25 seconds, someone is arrested for drug possession. And every day, 78 people die from an opiate overdose. More than 7 million children has a parent that has been involved in the criminal justice system. 8.7 million children live in households where at least one parent, has a substance use disorder. Today, I'd like to share with you how people we serve at Alvis can impact your business and our community. Individuals with justice involvement and our substance abuse treatment needs are in every neighborhood and every community throughout our country. Most are people with an illness that needs to be treated. A lot of people don't look at substance abuse addiction as a disease. It is a disease. More than 80% of the people in the criminal justice system have substance use disorder, and about 40% have a mental health illness. We also serve families and children of individuals with justice involvement and with behavioral health treatment needs to prevent those children from entering the justice system in the future. It is extremely important for my organization to make sure that we don't see the kids of our clients in the future. Reentry services and behavioral health treatment are community issues, not just corrections or human service agency issues. This is a community issue. So one of the things we do is workforce development. We began in 1977 providing workforce development services, and includes soft skills as well as hard skills. It was developed to address in-demand sectors of the labor market. Alvis has been providing workforce development services that address the needs of individuals individuals with justice involvement for a very, very long time. Soft skills are teaching individuals how to look for a job, how to present themselves, employer expectations, workplace communications, and how to work with others. Our hard skills, we are providing specific knowledge. For example, we do certification training programs in areas like logistics, safe workplace like OSHA certifications, customer service. We also include training leading to CDL, commercial driver's license. That is one of the biggest things that a lot of our male clients are doing right now, is getting certified to be able to, and licensed to be able to go over the road, and starting off making $70,000 to $80,000, which is definitely a living wage for our client population. Benefits to our employers, because not only is there a benefit to our clients, it's a benefit to our employers. They have access to a new pool of potential employees, reduced costs to hire and screen our clients, increased ability to hire better prepared to do the job. And then there's benefits to the community too. Families have a wage earner. When a person commits a crime, the primary wage earner is taken out of that home. Then there's reliance on social services. And then it's just a cycle. But when we get a family member employed, it all turns around. Relationships with employers are crucial. And that's one of the things that our workforce development department spends a great deal of time, is developing those relationships with employers throughout our communities. We determine their needs. We help determine employers' needs. And then the offer of employment services, we provide them a more valuable employee by doing that. We also add to employers by decreasing their recruitment efforts. In a lot of cases, we have employers that come to our organization, we recruit for them. We interview for them. We drug test them for it. We do all these things, and then we also teach the employers how to work with that offender population. And Rick knows this because he was at my panel that I had presented, and I told him how so many XYZ organizations around our community will hire our clients. They hire hundreds of our clients, but they have sworn me to secrecy. You don't tell them that I hire them. And it's like, okay, as long as it's going to get one of our clients employed, I won't talk about it. It's okay with me. But I wish they would talk about it, because what they're going to talk about is what a great employee you get. So I don't know, I just wish people would publicly acknowledge that they do that. And you know, studies show that 35 to 50% reduction in recidivism for individuals that have full-time employment. One of the things I failed to mention is one of the things that makes us so successful at Alvis is that we don't do any programs that aren't based on research. If there's no research to prove that it works and that we're going to have a positive outcome, then we won't do it, or we will do the research ourselves. We have a licensed psychologist, we have a psychiatrist on staff, we have a lot of the licensed personnel that can conduct that research with a university. So we just feel like, why would we waste everyone's time if it wasn't proven to work? 79% of the people that go through Alvis House program, and I said house, so I owe $1. So when we changed our name and took the house and dropped the house, for 2 years we charged $1 every time someone said house, because it was the hardest thing for someone that worked there for over 30 years. It's hard to just take the house out. We actually raised a lot of money, and we would give that to different other nonprofit organizations. For instance, Mothers of Murdered Children was a benefactor of all the money we raised, and trust me, we raised a lot, because we have a lot of employees that have been with us for a long time. So anyway, just to tell you just a few success stories, because that's what people really want to see. What's the success here? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Albert. He went through the Alvis program in 1991, and he now owns his own business and hires our clients. So you see how that reciprocates. Then Joseph, he earned his CDL license within a year, and he's making $60,000 right away. And Crystal, she was struggling after release from prison to support herself and her 12-year-old son, Dominic. She completed Digital Works program and hired as a customer service representative, and she's making more than $15 an hour. And those of you know that the city made a commitment in late November. I serve on the Women's Commission, Columbus Women's Commission, and we were so excited because that was something that we worked really hard on, and we were there when the mayor rolled it out that they were going to start every employee at $15 an hour. And this is a wish that I could do for all of our clients, is I wish that they could all start off with $15 an hour. Today, as I said, Albert owns his own cleaning company. Joseph is driving, and Crystal, she has a quote. Alvis gave me the opportunity to start over and become the supportive mother I always wanted to be. This program was nothing short of life-changing. It gave me another chance to have a career and provide for my family. So I'm going to show you a brief video. And this is on our GED program.
I'm here for my baby granddaughter. She's getting to graduate.
So my brother done went through some stuff and he done made it through. He about to get his diploma. I'm more than proud of that.
I'm just super proud of her. She's attaining all the goals she's saying.
Congratulations, little brother. I'm so proud of you.
And they really have a passion for wanting to obtain their education, which makes me excited.
My name is Lindsay Pearson. Today I'm graduating with my GED. I'm really excited. I feel really accomplished. I have a great support team.
I achieved my goal. It's the first time in my whole life where I actually set a goal for myself and achieved that goal. So I'm just happy. Time for the next part of my life.
I'm Rashad Sankey. It's a pleasure. I'm very excited to be here. This is a long time coming, so I'm very proud.
How do I feel? Happy. I feel like I made my grandpa proud, my mom proud, my family proud. First step for the rest of my life.
So one of the things that a lot of times I forget about, and a lot of folks forget about, is when someone gets incarcerated, a lot of times they haven't finished their education. So it was imperative that we added that to our services and our organization, is because people need an education, and just to get their GED has, as you can see, meant a lot to our clients, but also their families. And then now they actually have, excitement about furthering their education and going the next step, and that's what's also awesome in our organization. So stay in school. Families and children, and I said this before, but when a parent is removed from the home due to justice involvement and addiction, it ripples through the family. I always say, like a stone throw in a pond, the effects of a person's incarceration ripples outward to the community, to families. It just goes everywhere. So a parent's justice involvement and addiction compounds the trauma with shame and isolation. We have a lot of our kids. It's such a traumatic experience. A lot of our kids have seen more than I choose to even talk about. They've seen their parents with needles in their arms. They've seen their parents dragged off to prison. They've seen their moms get abused and the trauma that comes with that. And then we expect that child to go to school and to matriculate, something that they need help with. And I told you the numbers earlier, and it's millions of children that have been affected by this. In Ohio alone, there are more than 55,000 children who have a parent in the criminal justice system. 55,000 kids. Babies and toddlers make up 1/4 of those children, and another 30% are 5 years old to 9 years old. And they've seen, again, more than I want to talk about. These children, they're in the invisible victims of the criminal justice system. They're more likely to do poorly in school. They're at a higher risk for substance abuse than their peers are. And they're also 5 times more likely to end up in the criminal justice system. Our Alvis Family and Children's Program, it was something that, and I never like to say I, because our organization, I run the organization as a family. And I never sit at the head of the table. I never say boss. When somebody says boss to me, that's troublesome to me, because we're a team and we work together. But I felt like, what are we doing with the kids? We were doing all these things for the clients that come through our doors, but what are we doing about the kids? And so we sat down as a team and tried to how do we do this? And so we put together the Alvis Family and Children's Program. We offer, as it says, we offer hope for a child's tomorrow with their parent. And so we work with our moms in this particular program. There's 3 pillars: parenting education, clinical treatment services for children, and prevention services. And it just provides the parents with tools to strengthen their families and to reshape their future together with their kids. They attend counseling together, they learn communication skills, they improve coping abilities, they share their experiences, and they work together to build relationships. We do assessments and clinical support that is designed to address each child's abilities, share experiences, and work together. The program is designed to end the cycle of family trauma and turn lives around. In this Family and Children's Program, besides the weekly stuff that moms do, the children are actually living with caretakers, some in foster homes, some in children's services, some with family members, and some don't even know who their moms are. They've never met their moms. They may have been born in prison, and they may have grown up with a caretaker. And that first couple of weeks of the moms going through this extensive parenting education, then we reunite the kids. And trust me, in some cases, the caretaker does not want them to be involved with mom because they've been through too much. They think the kids have been through too much, but after convincing them that mom is on the right road, then by the end of the program, then all of a sudden you see them and the moms getting their kids back, and they're living together in their own homes, not at Alvis. It is something to see. I wish each of you could witness this, and I will invite you to one of our family and children's programs every other Saturday. They meet in our building right down the street, and the caretakers bring the kids, the moms we bring from our facilities, and they sit as a family just like you're sitting at the table. They sit at an individual table with just the families. They have a meal, and they do all kinds of things, and then they take the kids, sometimes with the mom, into counseling. That our counselors are in the building, and this is on a Saturday. I have committed staff that feel that I have to be here to help these kids. So the Family and Children's Program is something near and dear to my heart. Family is everything. I grew up with a mom and a dad. My father was a policeman. My mom was a teacher. And I grew up with, you know, you be at the dinner table at 5 o'clock. I don't care what you're doing. You know, these kids haven't seen that. You know, they haven't been forced to go to school. They haven't been forced to matriculate and to do well in school. None of this. The things that they've seen, I've never seen. And I hope never to see it. But that's why it's really important. This is something that Governor DeWine said. Family is everything, and everyone, no matter where you were born or who your parents are, deserves the chance to succeed. Everyone deserves a chance to succeed, to get a good paying job, to raise a family comfortably, and to be secure in your future. Governor DeWine said this in 2019, and I so agree with him. Everyone deserves an opportunity. People make mistakes. I talk to our every month we have new hire orientation. We typically have 40 or 50 new hires that come into our organization because we experience the same things that you all are experiencing hiring staff. And I tell them all the time that you have to make sure that we are helping our clients to be able to take care of their families. And it's interesting, this morning, I talked with them this morning, there was a new hire class this morning, and they were asking me, they said, "You're so passionate," you know? I was like, "You'll be real passionate too by the time I walk out of this room." You will, because, I mean, why does anybody else, doesn't everyone deserve that? You know, I always ask them to raise your hand if you've never made a mistake. I had 2 people raise their hand today. And I was like, am I not speaking clearly? You know, that was the first thing. And then I said, "You've never made a mistake?" And then their hand goes right down real fast. And then I said, because every client that walks through our doors has made a mistake. So when you made your mistake, are you supposed to live that the rest of your life? should they live that the rest of their life? The people that come to Alvis have done their time. We are helping them to get back into the community. But should that be a black mark on them forever? It shouldn't be. So anyway, no one chooses to be an addict. Most of our addicts are because they use pain medicine. That's what you hear all the time now. They use pain medicine after, you know, an injury or pain somewhere. Do you know someone like me that does this every day? When their son, I have a 23-year-old, when their son gets their wisdom teeth taken out and they give them opioids, and I see this every day, what do? I take them away. Here you can have it one day, and then now it's like kind of like, here, Mom, can I have some Tylenol? Yeah, thank God. You know, but you say that over and over and over again, and he even says to me, Mom, don't say it again. I will never do that. It's not, nobody chooses this. They don't choose to do this. So we have to stop the stigma if we're going to stop the cycle. That's all I wanted to say about that. And then I have some success stories. Brittany, she was incarcerated for 4 years as a result of addiction and trafficking, and only allowed supervised visits with her children when she was first released. Today, she has shared custody with her kids, with her ex-husband, and is very successful in the hospitality field. And then Megan's mother, Jody, took in her 3 children when Megan was sent to prison as a result of a $70,000 a year meth habit. When Megan was released to Alvis, Jody and the children went to every single family and children's program. Through the Alvis Family and Children's Program, we help our clients heal, and I talked about that earlier, so I have a video. Sorry. This is our Mother's Day.
With only moonlight and you, I found that heaven came into you. There's no more I had to do. It just took a little moonlight and you. With only stars.
So you get the idea, and this is what happens in our family and children's program. And I get a little misty just seeing it, and it's because they're healing. They're healing together as a family. So it's just part of what I like to do. You can be a part of the solution. And I'm tying up. Thank you for the clock, whoever put it up here. But you can be a part of the solution. Come and volunteer with us. Be an advocate for us. Hire our clients. If you hire clients, if you're a landlord, rent them an apartment. A lot of people will not rent to our clients because of their past justice involvement. And then talk about us publicly. One of my board members is in the room, Paul Weber, and you know, he's always advocating for us. He's always talking about us. We have some people that support us a lot. Thank you. Bob Weiler has been a good supporter of us, and the Sheddingers, and as one of our Family of the Years. Every year we celebrate a family that does a lot for the community, not necessarily for Alvis, but just helps in the community. So I appreciate all of you that I've seen here today. But we have a range of volunteer opportunities, so just check our website and check our social media. We're all over social media. Share our stories if you see them on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. If you see something that you really like it, pass it on to your friend group. But I just want to again thank you for having me today, and I will take questions if you like. Thank you.
Do you have any programs with employers so they don't have a black box? Have you ever been arrested on that? We disqualify every single applicant.
Can you say it again? I'm sorry.
Do you have any programs with employers where they have a box? Have you ever been arrested, which automatically disqualifies them from employment?
So one of the things that we do a lot of training for employers that can you remove the box? We call it ban the box. That was a statewide initiative to ban the box until you at least get an interview. And so we've trained our clients of how to answer that response anyway. But in most of the cases, we have over 500, I'm sorry, employers that have hired our clients in the past, so they know about the box, you know, but we try to train employers not to do that, not to, you know, to ban the box. I hope that answered it. Yes.
Do you have programs that help people with housing?
We do. Is anyone familiar with Amethyst? Do you have programs for housing? Do you do housing? Does anyone familiar with Amethyst? Amethyst was an organization that worked with women and their children. They lived in their apartments, and they were going to go out of business a couple of years ago, and Alvis took them over. We did an acquisition. We were going to do a full merge, but there were some issues, and we did an asset acquisition. And so that piece of our business does housing. That's the only piece. It doesn't do it for the whole organization. We do work with, like, we receive funds from the shelter board, the community shelter board, and other organizations that we work with, but that's not one of our primary business arms. Yes, sir.
If a mother is struggling with drug addiction, how would she find out that the Alvis organization exists? Like, how is it advertised?
So it's advertised, I mean, everywhere, especially on the internet, number one. But in all of our locations, we have a outpatient drug treatment center that we recently opened about a year and a half ago. But typically, it's just posted everywhere. We advertise everywhere. We do a lot of outpatient. You don't have to be a residential client of Alvis to come to get drug treatment, outpatient or employment services. But, and we do a lot, like I said, on social media. I mean, there's a lot on social media about it. And because you can't, and through the ATOM board, we're an ATOM board organization, so you can get all of the organizations that provide substance abuse treatment and mental health counseling. Yes, Mom?
How many of your clients are now actual employees of Alvis?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I will say today, though, in new hires class, and we don't ask people to disclose, but I do say to new hires that you shouldn't ever treat a client like they're less than people. That's one of my big things, is don't treat anybody like they're less than people, because you don't know who you're going to be working next to. And then treat them like you would want your family member to be treated. I don't know, today someone self-disclosed in the class that they had graduated from the Amethyst program. Yes, sir.
Can you describe the major sources of your revenue?
Sure. Sure. About $16 million is from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Another bulk of our funds are from Medicaid for mental health and substance abuse treatment. The Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities, county jails, county courts make up some of the bulk of the rest. And we do foundation, we get foundation dollars and others. I was told one more, I'm sorry.
Go
Mr. Weiler.
Yeah, Denise, what you're doing is fabulous, by the way. We all know what a shortage there is in workers, particularly in the construction field. I'm curious to know if you're able to get people who are capable of training those to go into that area.
So we've been having a really difficult time breaking into the construction area. We have had a couple of organizations, companies, that have said, okay, we're going to take you on. But they take one or two. But, you know, I always say the best skilled people are in prison. You know, they've learned a lot of skills before prison and then after prison. But we do have some. We are venturing to build another building for ourselves. And hopefully we can break ground by the end of the year, this year. And so I brought that up and with some folks, and they said, well, don't you have people that probably can come work for, because we're going to put out an RFP, of course, for the construction company, but they said, don't you have people that we could probably hire? I was like, yes, and they can be trained. There is some union issues. I mean, we've had union issues each time we've tried to really break through. So we are trying very, very hard, and any help anybody can give me, I would just really welcome it. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise, and thank you all for coming today. Great start to a great new year, so welcome. Next week, our program is from Mike Flowers. He's with Steptoe & Johnson. He's going to be talking about opportunity zones, so hope to see you all again next week. Thanks for coming.